Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori. Welcome to this latest episode of the Masters of Self University podcast. I am going to talk about how connection is not a basic human need. Because all we learn out there in the world is connection, connection, connection. It's a basic human need. We need to connect. We need to connect. And I'm here to teach you and elevate you way higher than the dysfunctional definition that we have, the often codependent, needy, powerless definition we have, and understanding that we have of connection, what connection really truly is. The way of connection, one of the universal ways of oneness, is the way of connection. Okay. The way of connection is the sixth out of 20 universal ways of oneness. Okay. The ways of oneness from oneness consciousness. I'm here to teach you about connection and how we actually have completely destroyed and distorted the definition and understanding of what divine connection truly is and how we connect in very unhealthy, distorted, dysfunctional ways. Right. So, connection being a basic human need is actually not accurate. It's not true at all. It isn't a basic human need. The reason why we believe it's a basic human need is because we are disconnected from our divine selves. We are disconnected from oneness consciousness. The truth is, at the core of who you are the way of connection. You just don't understand the definition, the divine definition, the enlightened definition of connection. Okay. So we have to learn through contrast. So let's understand humans desperately seek connections with others and they call that, oh, it's a basic human need. If I'm not connected with others, I'm often lonely. I'm desperate. I feel isolated. I start falling down the rabbit hole of depression, even to the point where it leads to sometimes a part of what leads to suicidal tendencies, for example. Okay. So we call it a basic human need, but we call it a basic human need because I want you to understand this. When humans incarnate on earth, when you incarnate on earth, you are incarnated as a quote unquote separate entity from the source creator. You've separated from her to incarnate here. You've separated to incarnate in a physical, tangible form. So we experience a certain definition of separateness and separation from source in order to have this human experience. Okay. And then unfortunately, we grow up in an unenlightened world because our planet and humanity is not yet in an enlightened phase. We have not achieved the full transformation of the new golden age of harmony and actually living what it means, looks like, sounds like, is like to be enlightened as a whole. Okay. So we are then raised by unenlightened people, by unenlightened societies. Right. So because we are then raised by unenlightened people and unenlightened societies, people of mostly of very low levels of consciousness, they are unhealed, they are not whole, they are not connected to their power. They are not themselves connected to their higher souls while they move through the earthly experience, the human experience, which means those who have children don't teach your children how to be number one and always, first and foremost, fully connected to your higher soul, fully connected to source. and allow source, your higher soul, your divinity, to guide you through your human experiences. So, what happens with unenlightened parents and societies and cultures as we grow up, they actually force us, they force babies, young children, they force you to disconnect, to actually break the invisible connection to your divine self. You break that invisible connection to your divine self. What happens is you then are experiencing this scary detachment, this unhealthy separateness, this separation from source, from your higher soul, from divinity. Okay? You experience separateness in a different way. Now, to come here, you're experiencing some form of separateness to a degree, but you're still divinely connected to the source creator of all that is, to your higher self, to your divine team, your, your spirit guides. Like, you're still connected fully when you come here. You're just to a degree experiencing quote unquote separation because you're in human form. It doesn't mean energetically you are fully disconnected. You are not. You are fully connected when you come here. Energetically, you are connected to your higher self. That gets severed. It gets diluted over time, but eventually it gets almost completely broken or severed for most people for a period of time during your childhood because you're being raised by unenlightened people. Let me give you a simple example. Oh, my son, my daughter has an imaginary friend. It's just a phase. Now, some people will sabotage and ruin that. And, that's not real. Don't talk to the other people like, oh, it's just a phase. And you like go along with it for a while. They'll grow out of it. You're helping to disconnect from who they're talking to. They're actually talking to their spirit guides. They're talking to their higher selves on some occasions. And by you dismissing it and acting like it's just pretend and just a phase kids go through, it's like, no, it's a phase, quote unquote, because you force them to disconnect to it, to grow out of it. You shouldn't still have an imaginary friend, you say when they get older. Well, it's not an imaginary friend. They're connected and speaking to and communicating to divinity. You're the ones forcing them in your unenlightened, your low level of consciousness. See, we're parented with unconscious, unenlightened people. This is what happens. We're forced to disconnect from our own divinity during childhood, very early on in childhood. So what happens then as we grow older? We seek connection from others outside of ourselves in order to make us feel whole. Deeply connecting to another being, deeply connecting when I feel like I'm connecting to others or to someone else, deeply connecting to others it's the closest thing we have to quote unquote going home and reinfusing with source consciousness, which is oneness consciousness. So and this is all subconscious. We're not aware of this. It's just energetically, we are divine beings. So the divinity within ourselves, there's always something inside of us that is seeking to connect to that divinity. But while we are unawakened, unconscious, unaware of this growing up, we get our wounds, we go through our traumas, we have our shadow self programs. And one of the dysfunctional ways that we seek out unhealthy relationships and connection, dysfunctional, distorted connections with others, is we're seeking wholeness from others. We're seeking connection to feel better, to feel whole, to not feel lonely anymore. In order to feel loved, we are doing it so ass backwards, upside down, inside out, when really all we need to learn is how to reconnect to the deepest aspect of who we are, the truth of who we are, the divinity of who we are, our divine selves, our soul selves. That number one is the way of connection. If you want to read about the ways of oneness and the way of connection, jump on Amazon, visit mastersofselfuniversity.com and buy my book, Mason's Way, the 20 Universal Ways of Oneness, taught by the spirit of an enlightened dog. Okay, because you will learn the 20 ways of oneness. You'll learn about oneness consciousness. Each way, each universal way of oneness leads you to full enlightenment or full oneness consciousness. Once you can embody all of those ways, you are functioning in oneness consciousness. That is the highest level we can achieve in a lifetime as a human being. So the way of connection, of course, the way of connection is one of the ways, of course, that is described in the book, and you'll get a deeper understanding. But for now, while you're here listening, I want you to understand that our substitution for being disconnected from divinity, from the universe, from source, whatever you want to call it, from your higher self, it's basically all the same thing. Our solution to that, when we are unawakened, unaware that this is what's happening, is we seek other people. It's our substitution. Other people then become substitutions for this disconnection from divinity, disconnection from our higher selves. All right. In our unconsciousness, unawakened states of being, we seek that out, and then we connect in unhealthy, dysfunctional, unloving ways. We trauma bond with people instead of awakening to what divine connection, the way of connection, actually is, and how that heals us, how it's a huge catalyst for self-healing, self-empowerment. Right? So we often will trauma bond. We will be attracted to, romantically attract in people, partners, potential partners, people that we date, get into relationships with, marry. We connect in ways that, oh, I don't feel lonely anymore. Oh my God, I can relate to you because you're just as broken as I am. Oh my God, I had an abusive childhood too. Oh my God, I went through that experience too. In our disconnection, we connect from very unhealthy ways, from our wounds. And then we wonder why our relationships get so fucked up. We wonder why they fade, why they go bad, why they get thrown in the toilet and someone flushes them down, like you're in a downward spiral. And then we say these bullshit things like, well, the passion just does die over time. Of course it gets harder. Relationships are hard. Of course the honeymoon period dies. We have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. People say that shit. It's all bullshit. Because we lack the education, enlightened definitions of oneness consciousness and how to become these ways, and how to truly at the deepest level heal what is actually going on in humanity, within ourselves, our relationships, versus what we like to think. Right? We need a deeper level of spiritual education here, and that's one of the things that makes Masters of Self University so incredible and so unique, is that it actually offers the teachings of oneness consciousness. And if we learn from oneness consciousness, we can learn to be that's the most elevated we can become or achieve as humans in a lifetime, is achieving what oneness consciousness actually means, and not understanding it on an intellectual level. Give a fuck what you understand intellectually. Oh, I'm so spiritual. I know you're so, you being spiritual means nothing. I hate to break it to you. It means nothing. Oh, but I give my stuff away for free on TikTok because I'm a channel and I'm spiritual. Good for you. I hope you're having fun with that. I'm glad that that's what you do as a pastime. I'm glad that's a hobby for you. Good for you. How deeply educated are you in all of this stuff? And are you, first way of oneness, first way of universal oneness consciousness is the way of responsibility. The way of responsibility. How responsible are you for educating yourself at the highest level, becoming that way before you go out and preach it to the world? Lack of integrity. The way of integrity is another one of the ways of oneness. And that's rampant. The way of honoring is another one. We lack honoring deeply spiritual truth and education because we want to go online and social media and just be special and gain a bunch of followers and be called an influencer. Because I want everybody to see me, validate me out there. That is an example of a lack of fucking connection to your divinity. When I just want to be special, I want everybody to think I'm amazing. Everybody look at me. I'm a teacher. I'm a channel. Who the fuck cares? You don't even know what you're channeling half the time. That's not a judgment. That's the damn truth. We lack the way of truth. We lack the way of responsibility. We lack the way of honoring. We lack the way of integrity. And we call ourselves spiritual awakened beings. We have a lot of growing up to do and a lot of maturing to do. And I'm here to call you out on it. Why? Our planet's running out of time. That's why. We can't be fucking up like this anymore, giving ourselves credit. saying things like, you should be giving your services away for free. What the fuck are you talking about? That shows how much you lack self-worth for your own self. You lack self-love for your own self when people say shit like that. I just give it all away for free. Really? So you think therapists, doctors, lawyers, everybody should give everything away for free all the time? Where's the lack of that's a lack of honoring. And it's a reflection that you yourself who believe that shit, you're the one that lacks connection to your higher soul. Let me break it to you. Let me make it clear. When you think others should just give shit away for free, when they have studied and they are truly educated, they are truly elevated, they are an expert in their field, because there's a lot of that shit going on in the world. Everything should be for free. No, our money system and the greed on this planet is out of fucking control. We don't solve that by swinging the pendulum in the other extreme where no one pays for a fucking thing anymore, because guess what? The shit you don't pay for is the shit you don't work for. Hate to break it to you. So no, swinging the pendulum to the other extreme. Those people that believe that, I will just give this away for free. Well, really? How are you giving everything away for free? Who's paying your bills for you? Oh no, Rachel's going to call you out. Rachel's going to call you out on your shit, because that's what I'm here to do, to wake up the people for real on this planet. You're sitting there in your privilege. Who's paying for you? Who's paying your mortgage? Who bought your house for you? Who pays for you that you sit there in your privilege and expect other people to give their shit away for free? This is a lack of connection to your own divinity. And these very same people are the ones that say, I'm spiritual, I'm a channel, I'm just coming from truth and authenticity, except that you're fucking not. You're fucking blind and unconscious. And I'm here to point that shit out. The planet has run out of time for you to be so fucking ignorant. You're killing the planet because of your ignorance, because of your lack of connection to divinity. We need teachers. Why do you think we have schools? Every student has the potential to learn. Every student has the potential to learn. And yet every student needs a fucking teacher to teach them what they're there to learn. We need teachers, but we need authentic ones. We need ones who have put in the hard fucking work, who are educated enough, who are at the level where they can actually professionally and authentically call themselves an actual teacher, not just my ego wants me to be seen as such, so I'm going to start calling myself as such. You are disconnected from your divinity when you do that. And you're disconnected because you don't come from the way of integrity when that's what you do. You're not coming from integrity. You're not coming from the way of honoring when you do that. Those are the ways of oneness, some of them. Anybody spewing that nonsense out there, you're sitting in your privileged house that someone else probably pays the mortgage for. All your food, all your clothes, who's buying that for you? So you can sit here and say, I just give my stuff away for free. Are you going to pay for everybody else then when they give their shit away for free? You got the money to pay for them so that you can put food on their table? You can make sure they have clothes and shelter and everything that they need to live? Anybody spewing that fucking crap out there is in absolute ignorance and a lack of self-empowerment. You are not connected to your power. You are coming from weakness and powerlessness. We are so disconnected from the truth of what we are, from our power. When we say connection is a need, it's a human need, it's a basic human need. Need implies that you don't have something. There's something missing. There's something that isn't being fulfilled. That's why it's a need. This is a need, is something we need to survive. So there's connection. I need connection. You need connection because you're disconnected from your divine source. Period. End. When you are disconnected, you need the relationship. You need to be in a relationship. And if you don't feel like you need a relationship, well, I don't even want to be in a relationship, but you're fucking everything you can possibly fuck left and right. That's the other extreme of how disconnection from your divine self manifests into dysfunctional, harmful ways. You use people for sex. You're promiscuous. You'll fuck anything that will fuck you, that will give you attention and give you the quote unquote connection for one night, or for a few minutes, if you can last that long, or for an hour. I want connection when I have sex. That's not fucking connection, you idiots. Bunch of idiots. I call you out on that shit. It is unhealthy. It's using people. It's dysfunctional, and it isn't divine connection. It is superficial, unhealthy, manipulative, using other people for a pretend source of connection temporarily. The way of connection, that universal way of oneness, that divine connection, there's no such thing as it going away. That is the divine definition of connection, the way of connection. You can understand when you are missing that in your life, within yourself, your divine connection, your disconnection. You've severed that connection from your own divinity. You can understand why you so desperately seek it out in things, materialistic things, in status, in followers, in people, in praise and accolades, in acknowledgement, in partnerships, in sex partners, in porn addiction. You're seeking out superficial, dysfunctional, unhealthy, temporary forms of connection because you're not connected to your divine source. That is the number one thing that leads to addictions, by the way. The number one thing that leads to addictions. You're disconnected from your power, your higher soul, your soul self, your divine self. You're disconnected from that. You're cut off from the source of all that is, and that is not outside of you. And when you keep looking at things like that are powerful and wonderful and amazing outside of you, and that's not me, that is a sign you're disconnected. So what do? You either seek it out in really unhealthy, dysfunctional ways, or you seek out the ways to suppress and numb your pain, the pain of being disconnected from divinity. When we're disconnected, we show up in fucked up ways. It's that simple. We show up in harmful ways. We expect our partner to make us happy. Oh, we become very controlling to our partners when we're disconnected from our divinity. I need to control what you do, who you talk to, what business deals you sign and enter into. I need to control what you do, how you do it, who you interact with. Why? Because I'm fucking powerless and I'm disconnected from my divinity. So I want to control you and make sure you look at me like I'm the only source of happiness that you have. Manipulation. How fucked up is that? Let's wake up. I want to be your savior. Savior complex comes from I'm fucking powerless and disconnected. I'm in weakness. I'm disconnected from divinity, from my divinity. And because of that, I'm going to control and dictate what you do. So I'm either going to be really controlling in a rigid type of way, in an abusive, dominating type of way, that's toxic masculine, or I'm going to be really controlling in an extremely cunning, sneaky, manipulative kind of way. And that right there is toxic feminine. I'm going to manipulate. I'm going to work on you slowly, subtly to make you think I'm your source of happiness and I'm the only one. You don't have it within you, but look to me, I'm the way. Be careful in your relationships. Follow me, I am the way. In an enlightened definition, is somebody who is oneness consciousness, who functions in the ways of oneness, who functions in, because I have achieved becoming the ways myself, the universal ways of oneness myself. I am here to show you, guide you, lead you back to yourself in order for you to achieve and successfully heal and become those ways as well. We all need teachers in life, period, end. You don't go to school and handed textbooks and put yourself through fucking school. And even if you're doing self-study when it comes to certain things, because there's a degree of that, even if you're doing self-study, you still have the goddamn textbooks and content and material to study from. The textbooks, the content, the material are your teachers. Quit with the We don't need another teacher outside of ourselves. That's fucking stupid. I am going to call it what it is, people. I want you to understand this because we are lacking our internal divine connection to the source within, the power within each and every human being. So I'm going to give you this analogy because I want to hit this home for you. When you go to school, I don't care how educated you are. I don't care to what degree you achieved any level of education. Okay. Let me say this real quick as a side note. Our educational systems are fucked. They're stupid. They're dumb. They need to be dismantled. They are bullshit. They are filled with lies. However, education itself is fucking priceless. We desperately need it more than ever. We need true education. We don't need some dysfunctional, I'm going to make shit up in order to brainwash people type of education. So just because our educational systems are fucked doesn't mean education itself is fucked. Wake the fuck up, grow your level of consciousness, discern the difference between the two. We need to grow up and mature out of this shit where we say, well, our educational system stuff, that means no one needs to be educated ever. Well, that's dangerous. That's more dangerous than being educated by a fucked up system. And if you were educated yourself, you would know that. If you were educated yourself, you would be able to discern. So we have to be careful. It comes from ignorance. When we spew out shit like, everybody just has it within them. They can just follow their own internal guidance. Be careful. It's not black and white like that. Here's the truth. Every single person, as a spiritual leader myself, I teach nothing but self-empowerment. You have a power within. Every human has divinity within themselves, whether they're severed from it, know it or not, disconnected from it or not. Doesn't matter. Every human has it. You do. Just like all humans have the ability to be educated. Now, to what degree varies. Everybody has the ability to go to school and be educated, to be educated in something, in a lot of things. But again, you could be a genius in a certain way and be able to achieve, the highest grades and gaining a bunch of knowledge through self-study, for example, but you still have teachers. Hello, wake up, people. You still have teachers. The teachers are the text. Who wrote the damn text, the content that you're reading and absorbing and studying and growing from? Those are then your teachers that are helping you to become more evolved. And I don't care if we're talking about spiritual evolution right now, or we're talking about becoming an engineer, for Christ's sake, or a therapist. Okay. It doesn't matter what type of education we're talking about. In school, you learn math, you learn reading, you learn these things. And you still need teachers to, just because you have it within yourself doesn't mean you're the teacher to teach you. You're too young to know how to teach yourself when you're 3 or 7, etc., which is why you have teachers to guide you through the material, to support you as you're learning it, to show it to you in different ways so you can actually integrate the knowledge, gain the knowledge and become it, to be able to succeed in this way. Maybe you need extra help. Maybe you're somebody who gets it so fast and you then can help others. We are all different levels of the way that we learn and how capable we are of learning and what we're able to learn. Everybody is different and unique and beautiful in that way. Okay. But you still need teachers to get you there. Do not fall into ignorance to think. I mean, wake up, look at our planet. Suicide rates are the highest ever. Violence is the highest ever. The world is at war right now. We have a war going on in our world right now. Literally. Women's rights are being taken away. I have less rights today than I had a couple weeks ago as a woman. I don't have rights here. They're all taken away because I'm a woman. I'm being oppressed more than I ever have in my entire life so far that I've lived on this planet this time around. Depression rates skyrocketed. They're going higher and higher. They're not healing. Gun violence skyrocketing, higher and higher. Domestic violence skyrocketing, higher and higher. Domestic violence with men among professional athletes, among colleges, skyrocketing higher and higher and higher. Raping women, sex trafficking, higher and higher and higher. Don't give me this fucking bullshit that you think you can just go out and heal yourselves by yourselves without the fucking help. If you could, we wouldn't have all this shit in our world right now, period, end. We need the highest level of teachers right now, of coaches, of healers, of educated professionals in mental, emotional, and behavioral health than we have ever had. We need us now more than ever. And we need the highest level of professionals, the most expert level, the most elite, because our planet and all of humanity is in a fucking crisis. Sexism is higher than ever in certain ways. Misogyny is higher than fucking ever. Women's rights all over the world are being challenged and tested. Racism in certain aspects are higher than fucking ever. The stuff that I see going on in the world, and especially in the United States right now, is sickening when it comes to how the racist shit that is going on makes me sick. The fact that we're not healed enough and elevated enough to unite together and help each other in the highest ways with the teachings of oneness consciousness, it is a disgrace that we are showing up in the world the way we're showing up. And it is time to change it. It is time to change it. So, when we realize one of the fundamental reasons why we are depressed, we have anxiety, we resort to violence in ourselves, we act out violence towards others, verbal aggression, verbal abuse, emotional aggression, emotional abuse, physical aggression, physical abuse, sexual violence, raping women and children, all of that. One of the biggest factors to that is we are seeking out connection in dysfunctional, unhealthy ways because we're seeking out human connection instead of realizing my number one, first, foremost connection I ever make is with myself, my soul, my divinity. When I am connected and I am an open channel to my higher soul, to source itself, to the universe, to divinity itself, I am connected. That guidance heals me. That guidance allows me to navigate through life and challenging scenarios. I am always connected. I am never fucking alone. And it doesn't mean as a human, you won't go through moments or experiences of loneliness necessarily. Sometimes you still will. That's part of being human, having the human experience. However, how do you heal and move through the loneliness? Is you are directly connected to your higher soul, to source, to the universe, to divinity itself, to the divine you that is the truth of who you are. That's what allows you to get through those challenging times. That's what allows you to heal anxiety and heal depression and heal loneliness and heal addictions and heal suicidal tendencies. That's what allows you to do it. One of the first steps to getting there to heal at that level is to learn on an energetic level what it means to be connected. This is energetics that I am talking about. No, it's not by saying your fucking affirmations. Sorry, it's not. And no, it's not by just changing your damn thinking. I just have to change the way I think about things. That's a helpful tool. It's a helpful tool. I'm not saying don't do that. Of course, that will help. That is not what I'm talking about. Because if that's all you ever do, try to change your thinking when you are severely depressed and have unhealed traumas inside of you. Just change your way of thinking and you're suddenly miraculously fucking healed. You're not. Let's get real. Look at the state of humanity right now. We're more suicidal and violent than fucking ever before. But, don't get me wrong. Just do it yourself. If you could do it yourself. I get so fed up with hearing people say that because that to me is a fucking dismissiveness of other people's struggles and pain. And that's why I'm calling this shit out. It is dismissing other people and how hard they have tried to heal this shit. It is dismissing that when you say that. Just do it on your own. How selfish are you to tell people who are struggling, who are in pain? You're dismissing their pain. We don't dismiss your pain at Masters of Self University. We don't do that here. We come from honoring, teaching you how to honor your pain, and we honor your pain. We embrace your pain, and we teach you how to do the same thing. You embrace your pain. You learn what it means to become the way of honoring to your pain, the way of unconditional love for your pain, the way of compassion for your pain, all of the way of connection for your pain. All of those are ways of oneness. All of those are ways of oneness. You want to know the ways of oneness? Buy the book, read the book, start there. Sign up for our classes at Masters of Self University. Go to mastersofselfuniversity.com. Sign up for that free consultation with one of our amazing certified, highly, highly trained in all of this work, certified mystical life coaches. Get a free consultation. Find out more detail about how you can receive this level of help. Everybody needs a teacher and guidance. So find yours and find the ones in the world who aren't pseudo spiritualists, fake shit that they put for free all over social media just so that they can feel special and gain followers. Be careful. Be careful. Because that isn't going to heal you. And it is time to heal for real. It is time to heal for real. Okay? And most people absolutely need their teachers, their coaches, elevated experts and professionals to help them achieve this level of healing, this level of emotional freedom, this level of elevation to actually live in oneness consciousness. If everybody could just fucking go out and snap their fingers and do it on their own in a day or a week, we would have accomplished it. We would already be living in an enlightened world. We're not. We are far fucking from it. And because of that, we have work to do. We have work to do. So do the work. Do the work. And even though your soul's journey is your own individual soul journey, and I mean soul in both definitions, your soul, your higher soul's journey, but it's also a solo journey. It is. No one can do the work for you. No one can move through the experiences for you. No one can move through the healings for you. That's a solo experience. That's an individual experience. It never means you have to do it alone without the guidance of an actual expert who safely, and I mean safely and effectively, has the wisdom, the experience, the education, the expertise to move you through that. That is so critical in order not to cause more harm and more damage to others. So, when you're trying so hard to find your soulmate and connect to others and make these I want to make healthy connections on an energetic level. Do you have an open, clear, healed channel, full connection, the way of connection to your higher soul? And I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of you do not. You don't. It's very difficult to achieve that. Once you learn how to heal and get there in that way of connection, oh, talk about emotional freedom. It's amazing. We live in a society that teaches you literally left and right every step of the way to fucking disconnect from your own power within, from your source of power, your divine source. We are taught over and over again, and we are even taught that by people out there in social media. They, with the, quote unquote, the best of intentions, and they're still screwed because they themselves are disconnected. So their teachings, what they're teaching you, they may even have crumbs of truth in there, but what is also infused in there is a complete disconnection from source, their connection to source. So many people are out there spewing shit that are, I channel, but what are you channeling? Oh, of course it's, no, it isn't. If you literally on an energetic level are not the way of connection, one of the ways of oneness consciousness, if you are not energetically the way of connection, then no, you're not. You may offer crumbs of truth here and there mixed in with all the disconnected bullshit that you're channeling. That's why be very careful. Be very careful what you listen to, who you listen to. Okay. And when you find the people who are, in your soul, they are so connected and they are educated enough to be a teacher. There's a clue what to look for. They are functioning from the highest levels of oneness consciousness. They have achieved this. They have mastered this, but how have they mastered it in their lives? What got them there? Because that is important to know who you are actually listening to and who you're learning from. Okay. So when you know that and understand that, that is the way of responsibility, the first way of oneness. That is your responsibility. Because unfortunately, we don't live in an enlightened global community just yet. And I think we can. I think we can get there. But guess what? It takes us doing the hard fucking work. We don't become an enlightened society because everybody chants Om and Namastes and bows to one another and wears fucking beads and carries crystals. That's not what makes an enlightened society. Give a fuck about your beads or your crystals. And by the way, I love a lot of beads and I love crystals. I love that stuff. I love all that stuff. They're amazing. That isn't what creates an enlightened society. Your ego and dissolving it and waking up to how you are actually showing up in this world is what creates an enlightened society. Your willingness and devotion, doing the hard motherfucking work that is painful and scary, and dissolving every aspect of your shadow self, that's what creates an enlightened society. Not carrying, not running around in the white robes and half naked dancing around fire. It doesn't mean shit. How many plant ceremonies you fucking go to doesn't mean shit to create an enlightened society. Doesn't mean anything. How quote unquote spiritual you are means nothing. That's not what creates an enlightened society. An enlightened global community is when you learn what it means to do the hard work, to do the painful work, to do the dark shadow self work, and to alchemize all of that within yourself with the light that you are, that you have within. And that is exactly what we teach at Masters of Self University in our classes and in our coaching programs. So I invite you to apply, become a certified coach yourself. You can apply to our Mystical Life Coach certification program. You can get trained in this work. You can also receive this work from our professional coaches, our certified coaches. And you can also take our classes that start in January 2023. Sign up for those now. All right. We're here to guide you back to yourself. We're here to guide you home. You are an amazing, divine, powerful being. No matter how much pain you are in right now, no matter how much you have failed in life or you think you failed in life, no matter what your struggles are, you can achieve, you can overcome all of it. But it takes willingness and devotion, and it takes fucking hard work. Do not think it does not take hard work. Weak people don't do the hard work. Weak people don't do the hard work. Okay. But doing the hard work doesn't mean you're doing it alone. You have trained experts and professionals to help you every step of the way. So take advantage of that. We need this more now than ever before. We are here to help you and guide you. So, with love, you can heal, you can elevate out of everything. Get rid of your anxiety, get rid of your depression. But it starts by learning what it means to connect, to become the way of connection. Become the way of connection. That is an energetic process. It isn't enough to just read about it. You learn about it, but you have to integrate that and become it. And that is what we teach at Masters of Self University. With that, thank you for listening. Please make sure you subscribe. Share this with everybody you know. Smash that like button. Let other people know about Masters of Self University, about this podcast. Invite them to have a listen as well. We're here to help. You are powerful, amazing beings. I want you to know that. No matter how weak, no matter how damaged you feel, no matter how much shame you may carry within you, you are a divine being. And if all you need is healing, we're here to help you find your way home to your divine self. With that, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now, everybody.